He was basically swindling us. This was not a good deal.
Some of these cases, curl your hair. This guy's been a predator for decades and getting away with it.
If you find a gem and you polish it, you bought it in the raw. So the parties that sold it to you were very content with that price. But once you polish that, you can bet your life one of the relatives is going to come back and say, sour grapes.
Brian R. Burke calls himself a contrarian real estate investor, buying properties from people who can't take care of them. But some sellers and their families sued Burke, saying he took advantage of people in distress to get lucrative deals for himself.
I grew up in this house. My father was a Russian Orthodox priest, but he evidently convinced my father that he was his savior and he was going to keep him from losing the house. If someone buys something and they do something to it and they make a profit, that's one thing. But when you prey upon a priest, no less, that's not exactly an honorable man.
Burke has faced at least 10 lawsuits from people who say he deceived them or ripped them off. Attorneys for those who have sued Burke say that the Belmont businessman insinuates himself into people's lives and then takes advantage of them.
In the course of the first case that we handled, we found that Mr. Burke had a 20 or 30-year pattern of finding vulnerable people and acquiring their real estate through questionable means. And we think that's the tip of the iceberg. For every one we found, there's probably 3 more we didn't.
He knows how to work the system, and he knows how to ingratiate himself with people. He's very good at what he does, which is acquiring properties at very low prices.
They have bad titles, they have bad environmental problems, or the building structure is falling down. And that was my bread and butter, things that nobody wanted. I mean, these are very capable people, they just have quirks. And then Morris was brilliant. I told you he was a savant in real estate.
Burke said he met Morris Stern, an eccentric, wealthy property owner from Brookline, at a Wobbin deli more than a decade ago.
They had a regular group of guys, and I sat aside from them, and they invited me into their group. I met Morris there. I developed a very deep personal friendship with the guy. We were so opposite in so many ways. But when I introduced him to my family, it's like the guy grew a heart.
Burke said that Stern wanted him to have 2 valuable buildings on Beacon Street in Brookline because the men were so close. Though Stern had a reputation as a penny pincher, Burke said he was always generous towards him.
The only one he was interested in doing was with me. And for some of his friends to say that they didn't know, because you know something, they didn't know him that well.
Everything we learned about Morris Stern suggested he would never have sold these properties for their market value, much less given them away to Brian Burke. Everything about Burke's story didn't make any sense. The only thing that Burke had, though, was he had this piece of paper which said he was the rightful owner of these properties.
When Stern died in 2012, Burke came forward with a deed and claimed he owned the buildings. But Burke's deed was suspicious. When family attorneys asked to see the document, Burke gave them what turned out to be an inkjet copy.
He got played.
Ronell Reichich was a friend of Morris Stern's. He says Stern was a fixture in his jewelry shop for years.
Do you think he actually ever made a deal with him, or the guy made it up?
Oh, I would bet my left arm that Morris wouldn't, God, no, there's no way that Morris would ever sell a building for $100. It's just not in him. It's just not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen.
The thread in our business over the years has been honorability. That's why we never had to record a lot of things, because people trusted us, and we trusted them.